DBSCG things.
What is up, you guys? My name is Taxon and welcome back to the DBSCG things, and today we're bringing you another exciting deck profile. This one specifically set 15 red cont-roly. But before we get into it, guys, I do want to say if you're looking for any custom mats and or sleeves, hit up ProMats, guys. They do a phenomenal job. They did them for me and my team. I'll leave a link in the description below. They are great. Go check them out. And also, guys, if you're new here, consider subscribing, hitting that like, and also hitting that bell so that you are notified every single time I upload a video. And with that being said, guys, let me turn this camera around and show you what I run in red cont-roly. Alrighty, you guys, so here we are with the deck. Now let's go over it and see what is in it. So, starting with the leader, when he attacks, he has an auto on the front side where you get to pitch a red extra card and draw 2. He has a permanent where you cannot add any non-Broly battle cards in this deck. And he also has an awakening skill at 3 or less life. You can draw 2 and withstand 1 energy. On the back side of the leader, he has an auto when he attacks. You get to draw 1. And then for the rest of the skill, it says that if you have 7 or more red extra cards in your drop area, you can activate battle from one of those cards by warping it. So, let's dive into the deck. So starting it off, we're running 4 of these unisons. These are the new SR Dark Broly unisons that came out in this set for this deck. It has a permanent that whenever you have 3 or more red extra cards in your drop area, this card gains double strike, making him a 15k double strike attacker whenever you swing with him. He also has a very good +1 for this deck where you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and grab any card with an activate battle skill with an energy cost of 3 or less from it, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Fantastic. He also has a very, very good auto -2. Whenever your opponent attacks with a battle card, you can choose that one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus by 3,000 power for every extra card, or every red extra card in your drop area. So that makes this card absolutely phenomenal. Moving on to the next unison that I play. I run 2 of the Vegetos. So what Vegito does, he has a +1 draw 1, and you can play a mono red Earthling card with an energy cost of 2. Or no, it's just a battle card with an energy cost of 2. I really don't run none besides Broly Crown, so I really only use that to draw a card. Also, I really ever use that +1. The best part about this card is the -2. Activate main until the end of your opponent's turn, end of your opponent's next turn. If your opponent would play a battle card using a skill, it's placed in the drop area instead. So that makes almost every deck right now just dead on their turn because so many cards are being played off skills. He also has an interesting -5 that almost never comes up. If your opponent doesn't have any battle cards in play, you can -5 markers off him and deal 1 damage. So that's that unison. It's really just to stop your opponent from playing cards off skills. So let's get into the extra cards, which is basically the majority of the deck. We're starting off with 4, the Demon Awakens. It's an activate main, limit 1, burst 1. If your leader card is a red Broly card, you can send this from your drop area to your warp and add 1 card from your life to your hand. It also has a nifty activate battle where you can choose one of your cards and give it +5 for the battle. It's cool too because it says just one of your cards, so you can beef up your unison with this. More extra cards. Also has an activate battle, so it's searchable off the unison. Counterattack, limit 1, so you can only use it once a turn. Negate the attack, and then you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 10. This card is very, very good. It also has a really good activate battle. You can choose one of your cards and give it +10. This also lurks on the unison, which makes it really, really good. Also, like, just beefing up your leader. Sweet. Next activate battle cards, we're running 3 of the Demonic Barrier. This card and this card both have a permanent where if your leader is a red Broly card, it is reduced by 2 in your hand, so it's always a 1 cost. This one has an activate battle. If your leader card is 15,000 power or less, it can get +5,000 and critical for the turn. You can give the +5 and crit to any card, any Broly card. So it's not just your leader. You can literally use this on Broly Crown if you want to. Demonic Playtime. Basically the same thing as Demonic Barrier, besides the fact that Demonic Barrier has a restriction of your leader already being a 15k. So in a situation where you want to drop both these on your leader, you have to use this first. Or if you want to use this on your leader, you're going to have to use this first because the power does stay for the turn. Anyways, this is has the same permanent as the other ones. It's reduced by 2 if your leader's a Broly. Activate battle, limit 1, draw 1 card, and then Choose one of your red cards, it gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. Additionally, if the card is a Broly card, it gains double strike. So it's basically like a Broly Champa double. Next up, we're running 3 of the Gigantic Meteor. Great card, has the same permanent as the other ones. It has an activate battle, limit 1. If it's your turn, you can choose any number of your opponent's battle cards with a total power that adds up to 30,000 power or less and KO them. Or you can choose one of your leader cards or unison cards and it gets plus 15,000 power and then has its skills negated for the duration of the battle. Additionally, if your leader card is a Broly, that card can gain an additional 10,000 power. So this card is really, really good if you're going for a single strike life on your opponent. Next up, we're going to dive into some of the negates. So by the way, all these cards I just showed here are searchable off the unison, which is really, really clutch. We got 3 Wolfang Fist. So basically, turn 2, you establish this unison, and this is just live for free at all times. Which it's kind of hard for your opponent to kill your unison because most of the time you're just going to be negating and minusing their battle cards anyways. This doesn't actually negate the attack, but you can cast this card and then you get to choose the attacking battle card or a leader card, ignore it by barrier, and get it minus 15k. So, really, really good card. Next up for the negate lineup, we have 2 testing the opposition, or 3, I mean. Anyway, this card is amazing. It rips you from 5 to 4, allowing you to easily use Demonic Awakening. This card negates the attack, drops a blocker, so it initially stops 2 attacks. This card's great. Everyone knows what the card does. 2 Violent Rays, not too much to say about this card. Everyone knows what it does. You negate with it, you stop any 20k battle card and or unisons. 2 King Vegeta Imposing Presence. This card's phenomenal, especially since your leader awakens at 3. Whenever you're awakened, this card essentially is just at its free cast state, so you never actually feel like you don't need to use that. Like, I love this card. I drop this like almost every game. Next negate, we're running 2 Unending Awakening. This card is great. It comes in clutch for versing a lot of things right now. Anything that's swinging with like a whole bunch of small weenies, like if you're versing like per se, started like Vegeta with Bardock's crew, this literally almost stops all those cards. So this is just a phenomenal add to this deck. We are also running 2 Strategies of U7. This card is great because when you do drop your 6-drop, you don't want anything to happen to it. So before you even swing with it, normally you would cast this so that even if a negate or something would get rid of it, like let's say you're versing black, you're scared of Kai negate, you can drop this first, give it barrier, and not worry about it getting warped. Also very good against the U6 matchup when you're worried about Kefla. Next up, we got Frieza's Death Ball. Activate battle, choose one of your red cards, it gets, or leader cards or battle cards, it gets plus 15,000 power for the duration of battle. Also as an auto, whenever you activate this card, you can choose one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards and get it minus by 10, so very, very good. There is a ruling going around right now that the activate battle auto here will not trigger the auto from here if you're using this from the grave. So that is what it is. This card, whether or not you're using it from the grave, still a great card. We're running 1. Is that all you got? This card's good and all. I was going to run it at more, but I like it at 1. I figured I'd rather not keep pitching more and more cards because I'm already doing a lot of pitching using Violent Rays. If I'm at 3 or less, I'm pitching to use King Vegetas. So I felt like I didn't want to use a pitch for this. So I just decided to make this a 1-of. Another 1-of that I'm running, Cease to Exist. This card's pretty good. You activate this for 3 energy, and you get to choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barry, and they both get minus 25,000 power for the battle, or for the turn. Great card, activate main, and then it has an activate battle, which is a little nifty as well, which you can choose one of your cards and give it plus 5. It's like a little combo. Secret rare, because I do not have SS4 Broly. Pretty rough, honestly. This card's great and all, but if you're playing this deck, play SS4 Broly. I will be buying an SS4 Broly so that I can play this deck to its optimal. Anyways, next up, we're getting into the battle cards now. We got 4 of the super combos. You kind of just have to run this because this is the only Broly super combo. And then we got 3 Broly Crowns. This card's phenomenal. I don't know if it needs to be a main deck. This kind of is still like a testing variation of the deck. I will still be swapping things in and out to find out what I like the best for this deck. But right now I've been running 3 of these. There's a lot of blue, yellow, and just blue in general right now, so this card is phenomenal in main deck. But in a local situation where I'm not being like too competitive, I don't know if I really need this in the main. But anyways, still run it. Great card. You need this in the deck because it's probably one of the only Broly's worth running in the deck. I run 2 of these Broly's, the 4-drop. He comes out for 1 energy whenever you activate Battle Skill on one of the red extra cards in this deck. Also, it has an auto. When this card attacks, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 10, or you get to choose one of your opponent's unisons and minus it by 15. Really good because if you're swinging with this at a unison, let's say they don't negate. First off, they don't get the combo, so they automatically take a damage if it's a 15k unison. Well, the auto will also proc and it'll minus 15k, and the ruling on minusing a unison is that if it goes to 0, it loses a marker. So essentially, if you swing at a 15k unison with this card, it takes 2 markers. Great card. It's also really good because you can drop all these double strike and crit cards on it as well. And to round off the deck, we're running 4 of the new Broly. This card's phenomenal. Deflect, double strike, has a permanent, it's reduced by 3 if you have 5 or more red extra cards in your drop area. Has an auto whenever you activate battle on a extra card from your drop area and or hand. You can pitch a card from your hand to stand them to active, and if you pitched a copy of this card, you get to draw 2 cards and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 35,000 power for the turn. So very, very good card. You really don't need to always pitch a card with him. A lot of the times I'll pitch something random if I don't have an extra copy of him in order just to swing twice with him. But with that being said, Bear Hug Broly is just a really, really good card. Especially if you slap strategies on him. He's basically a deflect barrier card. Phenomenal. Don't ever drop him against green unless you've seen his hand first. But with that being said, guys, this is my first iteration of Red cont-roly. And with that being said, we will see you guys in the next video. If you're new here, consider subscribing, or if you like this deck profile or today's content in general, hit the like, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video. Deuces.